Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Because they've decided
that's not. That's you know you're saying things
Robin
that
Page,
are ridiculous.
BBC. Bet me $10,000. $10,000, Mayor Koch, right now.
Baloney.
Robin, bet me.
Sheer baloney.
Bet me.
It's what you do.
Robin Page was arrested. BBC reporter for saying the word homosexual.
It's ridiculous, and I don't believe it, and it isn't true, and I don't know your particular case. But let me go a little further. The reason, what you're conveying is, well, so what if they kill 6 million Jews? They killed 20 million
That's
Russians.
not what I said.
What
I said is you shouldn't take people's free speech. That's what Hitler did.
I want to go a little further. I wanted to draw a distinction for you as to why the Holocaust is different in a lot of respects than the killing of any other group, even as terrible as it was. And I will tell you what the difference is. Hitler issued an order called the Final Solution, which said that every Jew in the countries in which Nazism prevailed would be killed, baby, infant, child, man, woman. No child could be adopted to save the child's life. No Jew could convert to Christianity.
Yeah, it was an extermination plan.
Yeah, exactly. And that was not what he did with any other people. And that's the difference.
Oh, I agree with you earlier that the base of Nazism was to go after the Jews. I mean, I've read Mein Kampf. I understand what's going on there,
Sure.
Mayor Koch, and I'm not arguing with you. All I'm trying to say is that you're not aware of all the new hate speech laws, even in England, that has no connection.
Listen, you're not in England. You're in the United States. The English have a tradition of being very free with speech, but they have decided that they have to put limitations on it. That's their decision. And
no, that's the government. The British people don't want to join the EU, and the government's forcing it down their throat.
Look.
It is a threat to freedom to have a tax on free speech, Koch. You can't say you support free speech in the U.S. and then go and then go to Europe and be the head of the U.S. delegation to go over there with that whole agenda off of the people that got killed, taking people's free speech today, using the dumb Nazis as your poster boy to take other people's free speech.
Now, listen, nobody's from here is taking anybody's free speech. Each government in Germany, they decided that if you did not clamp down on neo-Nazism and do that by saying that if you revere Hitler, if you engage in a fascist Nazi salute, you're breaking the German law. You want to change that. Germans are very happy to have that.
Well, I know this. BBC and Der Spiegel reported that the Germans government since the 60s has been caught heading up the neo-Nazi groups that they allow to operate and were caught provocateuring firebombing attacks against Turks as a pretext to pass such laws.
That's ridiculous, and that's what is known as the conspiracy theories in the United States.
Mayor Koch, you know what we're going to do with this interview? We're going to take your statements saying that they didn't arrest Robin Page.
No. And I don't even know who Robin. No,
and we're going to put the articles up where it says that the firebombing.
I don't even. Please give me a chance.
We're going to show it.
I don't even know who Robin Page is. I am simply saying to you, when you say that in England they arrest you for saying the word homosexual,
yes, they do.
I say that's junk, not true. You're filled with conspiracy theories. It's really peculiar.
Hey, let me guess. The North American Union doesn't exist either, right?
Let me ask you something. Do you think it was the Arabs who blew up the World Trade Center, or do you think it was the Jews?
Well, that brings me to my next point.
No, can't you answer that question?
Mayor Koch, I'm going to answer your question.
Yeah.
Okay? I do not believe that the Jews carried out the attack on the World Trade Centers. And I also know that the Pensacola News-Journal, the Associated Press, the San Jose Mercury News, and Newsweek all reported that the hijackers were trained at U.S. military bases.
That's correct. Not U.S. military. They were private training places. So
separate from that.
That's what it... listen, I can't. You're so full of misinformation, and if you're purveying this every day, you're polluting the airways.
Should I have my free speech taken?
No.
Should the fairness doctrine?
You want to.
Should the fairness doctrine be brought back?
No, I don't believe that. I believe you can say whatever you want to.
Hey, Mayor Koch, I actually think you're a funny, smart character, and I want to come back and talk about Giuliani because I don't like him either, and I want to end this on a friendly note. But I'll just say this as we go to break, okay? If you look at 9/11, you look at how they massed more than 70,000 U.S. and British troops around Afghanistan and had the aircraft carriers, and Bush signed the order to attack Afghanistan the day before 9/11. And if you look at how Building 7 wasn't hit by a plane but fell, and you look at NORAD standing down, and you look at Bush running the 9/11 Whitewash Commission, that's why there's questions. So to say that because a minority says Jews did it, the majority of 9/11 truth doesn't say that. So I want to get your take on that when we get back on the other side. Mayor Ed Koch, his new book, The Koch Papers. Look, I was talking to you in the break, Mayor, and I actually believe there's a global eugenics program, Planned Parenthood, set up by the Rockefellers who funded Hitler. I know you got questioned by We Are Change a week or so ago, and they brought up Prescott Bush. It was in the New York Times back in the 40s, being the head Nazi agent in the U.S. You said you knew nothing about it. I find it hard to believe that you've lived in New York and New Jersey most of your life and that you didn't know it's common knowledge and been headlines in the BBC, the headlines, London Guardian, the last 5 years. This has all come back out. Were you aware of all that?
All the things that you just said about the Nazis and the Rockefellers and Prescott Bush, no.
Did you know the Rockefellers were the main funders of Hitler?
They may have been. If I don't know something, I don't argue it. So
you know about American businessmen like the head of IBM, Thomas Walker.
Yes, there were. There's no question that there were businessmen all around the world that were funding Adolf Hitler and Father Coughlin here in the United States. Nazis, fascists, no question about that. But thank God we beat them. And what's most interesting about beating them is without the Russians, we would never have beaten Adolf Hitler. And they sacrificed 10 million troops. The Russians did in 300,000 in taking Berlin. So I'm shocked and surprised that we don't have a greater partnership with the Russians.
Well, it might be because Stalin killed conservatively 60 million.
I think that's probably correct, a figure of his own people. Not of Germany.
So that's why we don't have a better relationship.
No, but Russia is not Stalin. I mean, they're not Democrats.
Exactly, and governments, Israel doing bad things, Egypt doing bad things, that isn't Egyptians are bad, that isn't Jews are bad, it isn't Germans are bad. It's that we get taken, we get bad people in power, we get seduced by evil, and that brings me to my last point. I'm going to talk a little about Giuliani here at the end. But government-sponsored terror. The Gulf of Tonkin's now been admitted to be staged. The Chicago Tribune has now released the NSA tapes that Israel knowingly attacked the U.S. ship, the USS Liberty, to try to blame it on Egypt. The British have been caught staging events. I mean, all these, every major...
Yes, terrible things have happened in the course of history. No question about it.
So then why can't, you don't see any, why did Giuliani hide all the evidence and run and dump it in the landfill?
No, that's, again, crazy stuff on your part. I'm not a friend of Giuliani's, but he didn't bury evidence in the landfill. What he did was try to run a city that had been devastated by terrorism, and he made a number of mistakes, which the prime one being that he didn't require the people working on the site to wear respirators, and
well, they didn't want to scare people. They didn't want to scare people, so they lied to him and said the air was good. That's come out.
No, that was not Giuliani. That was
Christina Todd Whitman.
That was exactly. That was Whitman who said the air was good when it was not. But you know, as I say, I'm not a friend of Giuliani's. I opposed him in his presidential
Mayor Koch,
race.
You think it's a conspiracy that the AP reported that they used the people's bones to fill potholes in New York?
I don't believe that that's true, and I have not seen that AP article. So I have to withhold judgment. If
you know what? I think you're probably a nice guy. I just don't think you know all the stuff we know. And I give out your email real quick because I want to send you.
Okay, it's if anybody can get on my commentary list. It's one word: EI Koch. Koch is spelled K-O-C-H at Brian Cave. One word: BRYANCAVE.com.
Okay, Mayor Koch, thank you for joining us. Stay there one moment. I want to say bye to you off air.